So I was just thinking about wrist lock hate, and I'm too lazy to get off the couch to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it right here. But why people hate wrist locks so much, and why people are so weird about wrist locks. Like, I mean, I heard a girl one time like bragging about how she yelled at a guy who wrist locked her. She was a blue belt, and she was bragging that she yelled at a guy who wrist locked her. And I mean, so here's how I see it. First of all, every submission, if it's in the rules, then it's a valid submission. Like, if anything, like for example, I have a friend. I consider him a really good friend. He's a black belt, but like he came up with this. It's just like an owie move where he like if the person if whatever they defend the kimura from side control, then you just like press your bone against their forearm bone until it hurts so bad that they have to tap. Which whatever, like anything that makes them tap, okay, is it's whatever. I'm good with that. But that's not exactly in the rule book. So like in the grand scheme of things, that's more of a dick move. And I would tell my friend to his face that it's a dick move, but he would laugh like he is, that we have that kind of relationship. I like him a lot. But at the same time, like to me, wrist lock is not a dick move. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like if we look at what is the point of jujitsu? What is the premise of jujitsu? The premise of jujitsu is that we turn the tables on our opponent. That we use their size and strength and momentum or whatever it is against them, and we turn the tables. And it's like reverse Uno. Like all of jujitsu is like reverse Uno, Uno reverse card, whatever it's called. You know what I mean. Um, and so and wrist locks are like the reverse Uno reverse of reverse Uno reverse, however you say it. Like wrist locks are when we turn the tables on the table turners, right? Because pretty much anyone can pull off a wrist lock. Like you don't really like yeah, you don't really have to know a lot of jujitsu to pull off a wrist lock. And I mean like there are multiple moves like that, like a guillotine. I mean, doesn't I mean, let's face it, like there are moves that require more technique and moves that require, like not that a wrist lock is not technical, but what I'm trying to say is if you know some jujitsu and you learn wrist locks, you can turn the tables on pretty much anyone. And the bigger they are, the harder they fall because it's the big guys who are really susceptible to wrist locks, just like the big guys are the most susceptible to shoulder locks. People who are always hating on omoplata. I mean, omoplata. I love omoplata because they work with the bigger guys. They don't have flexible shoulders. They have big shoulders. Their shoulders are not flexible. Try to omoplata a girl with little like spaghetti arms. Good luck with that. Same deal with a wrist lock. Try to wrist lock a girl. Like some girls can just bend their hand just completely like a piece of paper. They can fold their wrist like a piece of paper. So I think so why do people so for me wrist locks embody the actual spirit of jiu-jitsu. So why are people hating on them? And I just think that people hate on wrist locks just because people don't like to lose. That's what it boils down to. Like, no one will admit it. Jiu-jitsu people are the biggest liars. Like, when I came to jiu-jitsu, I thought, oh, this is where all the cool people are. This is where all the honorable people are. Look, jiu-jitsu people are the biggest liars in the world because they will not admit that they can't stand to lose. So because they can't admit that they can't stand to lose, they've learned how to win. But then when they lose, they just can't deal with it. And so that, in my opinion, is why people hate on wrist locks. And of course they hurt. Again, my opinion only. I had an argument on Instagram one time with somebody about this. I just gave up. Like, in my opinion, for a wrist lock to work, it has to go pretty fast. Like, if you see a wrist lock coming, it's really not that hard to defend if you just make your hand into a fist, right? Pretty much. So, I think that wrist locks, in order for a wrist lock to work, it has to go fast. And when it goes fast, it's going to hurt like hell. Like that time Gary Tonin got wrist locked and he said himself, he's like, yeah, I cried like a bitch. But he was saying it was a totally valid wrist lock. It was a totally valid move, And so if like a properly applied wrist lock will make you scream. And I don't know. I just think that I think it's ego. I think they're like that 5 minute video to say one thing. I think the reason people hate on wrist locks is just ego because they can't stand to lose. So wrist lock the world.